This is the best of the best is yet to come. Segments of our longer episodes so that you can digest all of our great dating content in 20 minutes or less. Sometimes the problem with new relationships is we're still not out of the old relationship. In this, the third segment of our full episode with Linda Wajda, how to love yourself and move into a new relationship in a conscious way, we talk about the grieving process, how it can kick our butt, and how we can move on.
The spotlight coming on Tonya.
Oh, good.
No.
I'm gonna turn my ring light off. I'm done.
That's a great example.
I mean, that's not my personality, but it can be. But go ahead.
But no, that's like a great, like we all have rules of life, right?
Yeah.
Right. So hurt or be hurt, that's a belief.
Yeah.
So if that's your belief, hurt or be hurt, then what action do you take as a result of having that core belief about relationships?
I definitely saw that in a very significant long-term relationship that I had not too long ago, where I'm pretty sure the reason why it came to an end was the hurt or be hurt decision on the other person's part. They just had to get out in front of that so they could be the one who did it. Yep.
Yeah. So,
I've dealt with that with trauma from childhood with abandonment issues, right? And so when I was younger, I would always be the one to leave a relationship because I didn't want to be the one left. And so either I will sabotage the relationship or I would just be the one to say, you know what, I'm ripping the Band-Aid.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Did you ever regret that, Brenda? Did you ever leave a relationship you wish you didn't leave?
No, not really. I try not to have regrets over things that I've done. I think at the time, there were huge lessons, and it wasn't until I was much older than I realized that I had this pattern of thinking and this pattern of hurt,
That's really powerful. So just to be able to recognize patterns that aren't serving you.
Yes.
And to be able to release them, and I loved last week when you guys were talking about the idea of you had your list and you were clearing people off your list.
Oh, yes.
That was Brenda's exercise. Yeah.
Yes. That cord cutting exercise. I tell you, it was life-changing, and it sounds so big, but now that I am a few weeks removed from that exercise, I can tell you that relationship with my ex-husband, as an example, which was the most impacted with that cord cutting exercise, it has completely changed.
Oh,
I am
good news.
I am. I think I was hanging on for some reason. I thought that I must be his friend. We must be friends in order to co-parent. And what that was doing was it was getting in the way of me completely healing and moving on. Okay. And that cord cutting exercise is just, first of all, I realized that I didn't realize I had so much rage still. And I let it go. But then even the conversation with him is like, you know what? I don't have to be your friend to co-parent correctly or enough for my child. We can be co-parents. You can live your life and I can live mine. And now I give myself permission to move on without any guilt or any whatever,
That is so powerful to be able to curate your life in that way intentionally and to recognize something. Like in your Whoville, you had that belief that we had to be friends, and then to let that go, right? And to be able to release that into the universe or to the God of your understanding, and then define your role and goal in light of releasing that. That's really powerful.
No, that was I didn't think much of it, but it ended up being that wow, this was really, really powerful. I just thought it was, I'm just going to read these things, and manifest or visualize and do this exercise. And it blew me away. I did not expect that reaction. It took me a couple of days to get through that one part of the exercise. So
I'm going to be really curious, Brenda, to see if you start dating intentionally anytime soon, whether or not that cleansing process triggered something. I don't want to use the word magical, but I think you get what I mean, that all of a sudden that car wasn't sitting there in the garage anymore and you had space for the new truck. I'm really curious to see what happens now.
We'll see. I am open to what the universe is going to bring me. I know I've done the work. I'm doing the work, and it has to work, right? I believe
it has to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's a principle, right? Like sometimes you'll hear people when they talk about God. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but it's easier to believe in God and then maybe find out later that you were wrong than not to believe in God and then to find out all along God existed. And that same principle applies in our lives. Would you rather believe that things are going to go well and then maybe discover some difficulty along the way? Or do you want to go through life believing life doesn't work out and then discover you missed everything?
Wow.
I don't know which one's better. I really don't know, because the disappointment later on versus all those years wasted with misperceptions. But then something magical happens and saves the day. I don't know.
I'm going to try and believe, I believe that we're where we're supposed to be. Yes. And that the things that we've gone through, we've had to go through. And I cannot remember the author, but it might be Maya Angelou. It could be someone else. But, all my experiences have brought me beautifully here. And I don't know in my life or in your life why any of us have to go through certain things and why we all learn lessons in different ways at different times. And no matter how much we understand, there's still no safety. We have to create that within us.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite country music songs is by Rascal Flatts. God Bless the Broken Road That Led Me Back to You, I think. And all those broken roads, all those difficulties, but I had to drive those roads or walk those roads to get to you.
But the problem is, Rich,
yes.
Do you believe along the road? Do you believe that there's something better? Or do you believe that broken road is how life is supposed to be?
So I am the eternal optimist. And so I'm the person who has always looked at the broken roads and said, there's a lesson here. Not always. I'd say in the last 10 to 15 years, I've developed that perception or the ability to see the world that way. And I certainly am a lot stronger at it today than I was 12, 15 years ago. But yes, I agree with you. I think, and maybe that gets a little bit more to what you guys were telling me before, which is if you're present in the moment, and this is where my Buddhism comes in. You say, I'm having a difficult time right now. I broke up with my girlfriend. I feel low self-esteem. What did I do wrong? I'm challenging myself. I'm beating myself up. I'm angry at her or whatever. If you are so caught up in those moments, not just saying, no, this relationship ended. It's not a failure. This relationship ended. It's a part of the broken road. Do I know what comes next? I don't. But I have optimism that coming around the corner, the road is going to be smoother and that maybe there's even someone waiting for me there. And I have tried to live my life that way.
Well, in acceptance, but what I think what you're describing, and you tell me if you feel misunderstood, Rich, but what I hear is you're telling us that you practice acceptance.
I'm trying.
You might not like that a relationship ends, but by accepting it and grieving it, you open up the possibility for another good thing.
Yeah. I think the big challenge for me, Linda, is understanding how much the grieving process I want to engage in Should I use that grieving process to completely push that person into the past? Or is that denying the opportunity for that person to rejoin me because they make a choice and I'm open to that choice? It's, that's where I've always stumbled is, that, and there is some point where time does heal wounds, and it's so much easier to just say that person's gone. And right now I've got a choice to make. Do I want to be with someone new, or do I want to pine for this person because I need to grieve some more? That's always where I've kind of stumbled.
Well, I think that's a very normal expression of grief, right? Grief does what grief wants to do. And sometimes it kicks our butt.
Oh, yes.
Right. And I just think that's very, very human.
Well, I've got the boot marks on my ass to prove it. Tonya, my dear,
Richard,
my love.
Yes.
As you listen to us, do you think at all that you're grieving something, and perhaps that's why you're still wondering, do I want somebody in my life? Do I not want somebody in my life? Am I ready for it? Have I cleaned out the garage? Because and on the last couple of episodes, we've talked about how you're still pondering all this. Where are you at with all of that?
Oh no, I'm not grieving anyone.
Okay.
Okay, you know what? Let me think. This just popped into my head. Bringing someone in just simply means I'm giving up my peace. So
Right.
Can I be grieving my peace before I have even given it up?
Uh-huh.
I know that sounds crazy.
I'm trying to understand it, frankly.
Anyone? It's like, no, I'm not holding on to anyone. I'm not holding on to any. I'm just holding on to my peace.
All right.
And
why do you assume cleaning out the garage means someone's going to come in with a truck that's rattly and spitting out, belching out
I don't
fumes?
assume that. I don't think I assume that. I'm just.
Then
fine.
why are you giving up peace?
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't want to go down no broken, raggedy roads looking for this good person who's going to come along. I'm just enjoying myself,
Right.
just doing what I do.
Right.
As a boss, doing what we do. I'm just floating along happy. You ever know who Pete the Cat is? Pete the Cat just walking along. Remember Pete the Cat? He had on his white shoes. He walked through the red paint. He walked through the mud. He walked through the dirt. He never got upset. He just kept walking along, singing his song. So I'm just Pete the Cat. I'm just chilling. And then if someone comes along that it's not that I'm like got my Wonder Woman things up. I'm like fighting people off or anything. I'm just walking along singing my song.
Wristbands of gold.
You're right.
Stay away.
I'm just in such a chill mode.
Can we ask you a question about your Whoville, Tonya?
What is my Whoville? Tell me what.
Your Whoville is your rules of life, like how you understand the laws of the universe. So maybe, am I hearing correctly that your law of the universe is there's a difference between being alone versus being lonely? And
Definitely.
And you're content.
Exactly.
And you're following your path through life. And if he comes, so be it, but you're not going to compromise to have something.
That's pretty much it. I've always been such a rule follower, such a good girl, such an overthinker, just a planner. And if I get into a relationship with anyone, I'm definitely going to be the one, even just friends. Like I say, if I'm going out to dinner with Linda, and I already know Linda, I want to eat Chinese. Linda's like, I want to eat French. I don't want French, I want Chinese. Guess where we're going to end up? Right where Brenda wants to go, because that's what she wants to do. And I'm just going to go along to get along. So I don't want to put myself in a position to go along and get along. I just want to be Pete the Cat, walking along, singing my song, doing exactly what I want to do without any impeding, without discussing anything, without considering anybody's feelings, without caring about anybody other than me. And okay, it could be because I am the oldest sister. I have always never just been responsible. My twin sister has so much freedom, y'all. This lady stuff just rolls off her back, stuff that would keep me up at night. And I used to be like, damn, I want to be her when I grow up. because shit really does not bother her. We all know people whose stuff does not bother, right? And the overthinker me, everything bothers me. At 52, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to do what I'm doing. And I'm just walking along, singing my song.
With your Pete the Cat shoes.
With my white shoes, walking through mud puddles and paint. So if there's not that I'm blocking anyone, I'm just, he shows up, he does. If he don't, I'm good.
But I just have one question it just kind of stood out at me. So in your world, it kind of sort of means that if you have a relationship or if you have someone, then it immediately means you have no peace, like the two go together. But that's not true, right? Is that something that we tell ourselves? Because we can conserve our peace with someone that understands where you're coming from, who is the right person, and who also appreciates that peace.
But I don't want to work
for themselves.
My peace. I don't want to work to conserve my peace.
It works for you. I say more power to you.
Well,
but does that make sense? You guys get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was kind of in that mode for the most of 2021. I was actually on a phone call with a male friend of mine this afternoon. I said to him, on the scale of 0 to 10, 10 being an absolute non-negotiable, 0 being whatever, where do you stand on wanting, not needing, wanting a woman in your life? And he said, I'm probably around a 7. And I said, last year I was probably like a 5, but right now I'm an 8. I think that, stumbling upon this relationship that I'm in right now and how I'm not going to say it's easy because we challenge each other. We both challenge the other person. So there is some work involved and there is some compromise involved. But what I'm enjoying about the relationship and the growth that I think I'm going through, and I'm hoping, when she talks to me about it and she says she's going through the same thing, that reaffirms why I put an 8. Because I love this process and this, helping each other and having that, that Linda and I were talking earlier today about how relationships are mirrors. And they're there to teach you something about yourself. They're there to help you see yourself in a way that maybe you couldn't have seen yourself. It was just you looking in the mirror. You're looking at this other person in the mirror. And I think right now I'm really enjoying that. I'm enjoying this person showing me things about my personality that I can improve upon. Just all the things that we have in common that I'm living more fully now because of her, because she prods me into doing these things, and I'm having much more fun. And I think, but yet I wasn't that guy a year ago today. Today I was a 5 and I was a happy 5.
Yeah. Well, makes sense to me. Where are you, Brenda, with your numbers? You're 5, you're 8, you're 7.
I don't know.
Are you Pete the Cat? We walking along together singing our song?
No, I do. I do. I love my peace, but I am actively working on myself because I would like to have some companionship. But more importantly, I want to make sure that I have done the work before I meet this person. I think that's really my focus. I still believe that this person will come along. I do believe that this person will be spiritually compatible and, and all these things. But I also recognize that I have to do the work.
So in reference to your analogy last week, Brenda, is a good portion of the car still in the garage?
Oh, no. That garage is cleaned out.
It's cleaned out.
Yes, we might have a few bins, but it's for the most part, it's clean.
Okay.
I think that was a major obstacle, the one I was talking about earlier. I think that was the biggest.
That was the one
obstacle.
that got the jalopy out.
Yes.
Well, that sounds like just a huge shift of energy for you, Brenda. Just to be able to define your role and goal as a co-parent. That's just a big energy shift.
Absolutely. That just a permission, right? Just a permission to say, you know what? You don't have to be more than what you are. You don't have to do all these extra things because these extra things are probably impeding you from moving forward. And they're not necessary. You're only hurting yourself. Yeah.
Linda, we're going to have to wrap it up. Believe it or not, we're at 50 some odd minutes. Again, it's, there are so many subjects that we've touched on that we barely touched on, some subjects that I'm thinking about in my head that we never even got to because time is quite a precious commodity. So, Linda, can we get a commitment from you to come back in 3 months?
Oh, I love it. I'd be honored. Thank you. Definitely. Before we end, can I give you guys homework?
Sure. We love homework.
Yes.
Just tune into your Whoville. Like, what are your rules of life for the way the world works? And when you notice judgment, maybe just keep track of it and see if you can see patterns where you're judging yourselves or judging others. And that's empowering because then you can release that.
And I am lucky because Linda and I had a call earlier this afternoon and she applied that with me. And I did something as a result of that homework that she gave me early this afternoon. And I do feel better because of it.
Oh, you are so sweet.
Hey.
Yes.
Tonya, that was the text message I sent out earlier.
I know. As soon as this camera clocks off, I'm waiting for you to update me on what happens.
I'll let you know. So stick
Record,
around.
stop.
You can either hang up or
Oh, no.
call
We
me.
can just stop the recording and we're
I
good
gave
to
him a
go.
big, we had some good empowerment coaching about.
We did.
Yeah.
And then I called the woman that I'm dating and I said to her, Linda just had this great call with me and I just did something.
I'm just waiting for recording has stopped.
Ladies, thank you so
guys.
much.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to see you again, Linda.
Thank you,
So
guys.
Linda
You guys are
Wajda,
fun.
braverlife.com.
OneBraverLife.com.
You can find her on Instagram, Facebook, and on her website. So please visit with Linda online, get to know her a little better. And I do hope if you have any issues that you will set up a consultation.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Be well.
Take care.
Have a good evening.
Yep.